Hi guys, this is Rayla Cook. This is the second video assessment project. So this one is more Olympic weightlifting, actual lifts with it, more power, more plyometrics, things of that nature. If you haven't seen the first one, basically this project is about how I can be creative with exercise variations and what I learned in my strength and conditioning class. So there's going to be 36 exercises total, 6 modalities, 2 exercises per modality, 3 variations per exercise, so that's 36. My program is more Olympic weightlifting oriented, so a lot of lifts. This is strength and power parameters mainly. Weight is not included in here. Only parameters I've set were sets and reps. Rest generally 2 to 5 minutes for power strength, but it's up to you. And yeah, so pretty much just gonna go over the actual workout that I recorded myself doing and what you need to have to do the workouts. Enjoy. All right, part 2 of video 2 assessment. So clean pulls, Olympic lift clean variations. Clean pulls, so 2x5 in power position, that's hip, knee, ankle flexion followed by extension with scapula elevation. Clean high pulls, same thing, just now you're adding elbow flexion after scapula elevation, after that shrug. And then low hang clean pulls below the knees, so basically gradually making your way towards the ground and incorporating all of the phases in the pull, the 4 phases. First pull, transition, second pull, get under, and then catch. But anyways, low hang clean pull, same thing. Just now your starting position is below the knees, and you have to do that transition between first pull to second pull. Get above the knees and then exploding that with extension and scapular elevation with contact point. All 2x5, strength and power. And what you'll need for this, let's go back before I forget what you need. Just barbell, platform, safety clips, weighted plates, and preferably Olympic weightlifting shoes. If not, just a shoe that's rigid, strong, and has elevated heels. Like a boot. Work boots, great. And then the second exercise for the clean variation, power clean. So power clean, a little bit more explosive, using more movements compared to the pull. So hip, knee, ankle flexion followed by extension with scapula elevation, the same, but now external rotation of the arms, elbow extension, and then hip, knee, ankle flexion followed by extension. That's that dip and catch phase. So power position, you're catching it above where you're supposed to, like a full clean, but you don't go all the way down when you catch it. You just stand, kind of like a quarter squat. Then we have hovering power clean, same thing, just now your starting position is a little bit above the ground. You're not touching the ground, but you're a little bit above the ground. So to get into it first, what I do is I do a deadlift, clean deadlift, stand up, and then lower the bar down so it's barely hovering the ground, and then do the full power snatch. Lastly, tempo power snatch, same thing as before as all the other ones. Now you're actually touching the ground using all the phases, all the transitions. It's the same thing, but now flexion to extension, that first pull, super slow, and when you get past the knees or at the knees, right to the second pull, this is when you actually go back to normal speed and explode. So super slow to normal speed fast. Okay, so we're gonna get in exercise 2, Olympic lift clean variations. First thing we got, like I said, clean pulls. So clean pulls, the hip, knee, ankle flexion followed by extension with scapular extension. So you'll see that the snatch and clean are pretty much the same movement. A lot of similarities, just different grip, different contact point, different catch. But essentially it's that same movement. So hip width apart with the feet, toes pointed out, hips a little higher than the knees, torso over the bar, forward, if you will, it's more preferred. Hips and shoulders raised at the same time. When you make contact, which is around middle thigh, varies per person, but a little lower, it's definitely lower than the snatch. When you make contact, after that triple extension of the ankle, knee, hips, then you do the scapular elevation, you shrug, right? And that's pretty much it. So that was just an actual clean pull. Now let's go on to the actual variations. So again, you don't need weight, barbell, PVC pipe, good enough. So we got clean pulls, the same thing I just showed you, but now power position. That position essentially right before triple extension, where you generate all that power and explosiveness. So it's above the knees, it's a little below the contact point. But first of all, let me just show you the grip. So it's kind of like a bench press where I have my thumbs at the smooth niling. Right when they touch the smooth niling, that's when I know I have my grip. So it's pretty close to your body, your arms and hands. About an inch or two away from the niling. So it should be below that hip crease. Anyways, power position, you drop down, slight flexion, and then extension, rapid extension. This is right before that contact point, right before the triple extension, right before you generate that power, essential for the movement. Great practice on taking your time, being patient, and really extending and standing up, jumping if you will. That's pretty much it. So the triple extension, and then after triple extension, do a little shrug at the end, the scapular elevation. Okay, this is going to be the second variation, the clean high pulls, power position, same positioning, pretty much same pull, just now you're adding in that little elbow flexion, that extra shrug, if you will, at the top. The last part of that second pull, right before you dip under and get underneath the bar. So kind of like a scarecrow, elbows up and high facing the ceiling. Start from power position, so a little dip. And drive, extra shrug, if you will. Add in elbow flexion. Now you want to keep your elbows locked or extended as much as you can before this phase. Or if they are bent before the actual shrug portion, just make sure they stay bent. You don't want them to extend and bend or extend and flex frequently during this movement because that's just a way to lose a lot of power. So be patient. After triple extension, then you do the shrug with that extra elbow flexion. All right, third variation, low hang clean pulls. So low hang essentially means it's below the knees. You have a low hang, high hang. Just below the knees, this is at that transition point between the first pull, second pull. We have to get the knees out the way and then come back. So that's scooping and then coming back. And then the same thing, you just now getting closer to the ground, trying to incorporate all of the phases. The lift off, the first pull, second pull, dip, catch. So you start below the knees. There we go. And then same thing. Stand up, triple extend, if you will, and shrug. So try not to bang the bar. You don't, even though we are making contact, you don't want to think of it as hip thrusting or moving your hips forward. Think of it just, you're just standing up and the bar is just naturally going to hit your thighs due to you extending your hips and knees and ankle. Don't think of it as actually hip thrusting the bar, because you don't want the bar to go forward. You want the bar's path to be as straight as possible so you can get under it. If the bar's too out in front of you, it's going to be so much harder to catch it and get under it and control it. And when it comes to Olympic weightlifting, even the slightest error in technique can mess you up, especially with heavyweight, especially. And again, to make this stuff easier, you can get a PVC pipe, nice and easy, or go slower with the movements, have less weight. If you want it to be harder, go faster, add weight. All right, now we're going to do the power clean, so let me just demonstrate what that looks like. So grip, close grip, length, common grip, pretty much. Kind of like in the middle of the kneeling and the smooth part of the bar. Feet shoulder width apart, pointed outward, open up the hips. You're going to bend down, sit. Hips are going to be slightly elevated compared to the knees, so a little above 90. You're going to lean forward, lean over the bar. Pressure should be in your midfoot. And then you're going to raise up hips and shoulders at the same time. So it's going to be the flexion of all of the knee, ankle, hip, followed by rapid extension with scapular elevation, external rotation of the arms, elbow extension, hip, knee, ankle flexion, followed by extension. So it's a lot of things I just said. It's power movement, it's Olympic weightlifting, a lot of things. It's why it takes a long time to master. Kind of like the catch, that same thing, just now contact's different and catch is different. You catch it on your front deltoids, your clavicle as well. And I'm telling you, like, I'm serious, you guys have to have contact. It happens, people are afraid to actually catch it and they just use their arms to catch it, and it's just hovering over their shoulders and clavicle. no, you know it's you're gonna have bruises, that's for sure. Anyways, raise the hips, shoulders, explode, triple extension, catch it. You have to get your elbows up. That's another thing. You're getting your elbows up when you're getting under. You're pressing through, activating those lats, or latissimus dorsi, and you catch it right there. And your grip. Now this, because mobility is usually an issue, tight latissimus dorsi or your interior muscles like your pec, pectoralis major, minor, serratus anterior, stuff like that. It can kind of get in the way of actually getting your hands actually under the bar. So it's okay in the catch portion. So you want to have a closed grip the whole time, but when you're actually turning under, it's okay to kind of let go not really let go, but not have a full grip and have your fingers on the bar. See, it's on my shoulders, on my clavicle, elbows up, driving the lats. And you can see my fingers are all wrapped around it, not fully gripped because, again, mobility issue, but it's okay as long as you have control because, honestly, if you let go of your hands, if the bar is resting correctly on your shoulders, clavicles, and your lats are up, your elbows are up, you're not going to need to actually grab it. It'll stay there. But anyways, you only really need to change your grip to full closed grip with the jerk, if you can, the jerk portion. But we'll get into that later. So now, let's get into the actual variations. So first one, power clean. So now, what I just showed you, but in the power position. So right before triple extension, slight flexion or slight dip, and then sudden drive and dip. And you catch it and a quarter squat, if you will, or at the top. You don't do a full clean. A full clean is when you actually catch it by getting under it into a full deep squat and then standing up like a front squat. But this, you're catching it at the top with like a quarter squat. Oh, right here I was told to put your safety clips on. This was my mistake. I should have done that, even though it was just 10 kilograms. Safety first. Okay, so drive, power position, so slight dip or slight flexion, rapid extension, turning under the bar with your elbows, pushing your elbows forward, catching it on top of your shoulders and clavicle, and kind of doing a little quarter squat to catch the bar and absorb the forces. Quarter squat up. Okay, now a full clean. Make it easier, you can get a PVC pipe or a broom and do the same motion. Make it harder, you can add the weight, obviously. Or start from the ground, or do actual full clean. Okay, second variation, hovering power clean. You start at the ground. So this is kind of like the power clean that we did originally. Just now, you're at a lower position. You're gradually getting to the ground. You're gradually incorporating all of the pulls, the first, second, third phase, fourth phase as well. So we're getting lower and lower. Not at the ground yet, but we're right above the ground. So almost near flexion of what you do when you're starting at lift off, if you're going to do a regular clean. So I just stand up, deadlift, flexion extension. Now I go down and hold it, hovering over, and then explode into a regular power clean. Again, just working on those transitions from first to second pull, because it's pretty difficult for a lot of people, including myself. And also, this is pretty strenuous stuff, high intensity, even with light weight. So it's okay to rest in between or put it down. Even though I said 2x5, you can do 2x3 rest and finish the 2 reps later. So it's, this is not cardio. But especially for beginners, you wanna show them, introduce them as many lifts and movements as possible, and really get down the coordination and muscle memory. So it's gonna be high volume for sure, compared to like an intermediate or pro weightlifter. So the side view we're going to see here, obviously it's going to be the same thing, just second set. While I catch my breath, just want to tell you, we want to look at the path of the barbell. So with any of the lifts, Olympic weightlifting in general, you want to have a nice vertical path. You don't want it to go too forward. You want it nice and vertical so you can get underneath it and catch it properly, safely, and efficiently. So hopefully, let's see if my bar path is okay. So hips up, shoulders up, hovering, not touching the ground, and then boom. So I don't want to be self-confident or brag or anything, but that path is not bad at all. I don't think it's a lot better than my snatch path. So you can see the bar straight down, straight up. There's a slight kind of forward thrust, but it's not exacerbated. So I think that's, definitely not bad. Not as bad as I would think. And yeah, that's the hovering. So the next one we're going to do is tempo power clean. Should catch your breath, because again, these are a lot of power, high intense movements. All right, last variation, tempo power clean from the ground. So you're actually starting from the ground. Same thing as tempo snatch, just now on a clean, or power clean, I should say. So that same hip, knee, ankle flexion followed by extension, scapular elevation, external rotation of the arms, elbow extension, hip, knee, ankle flexion followed by extension. Everything's the same, just the only difference is right here, that's slow to fast, okay? So you pick up the bar, you're extending, you're in the first pull, but it's super slow. Again, this is working the transitions between the first and second pull, because a lot of people are impatient, including myself. I know this sounds redundant, I probably said it already, but it's very important, these transition periods. And lifting, from lift off, it's quite difficult, in my honest opinion, trying it myself. Lift off, compared to just power position, it's a lot harder. But anyways, so tempo. So it's slow first pull, and then when you get to the knees or a little above the knees, that's when you go to the regular speed and explode. Slow, 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 explode. Okay? Just works on being patient and not raising the hips too much, or not leaning too forward, or getting too eager and not doing a full extension, having a lower contact point. So there's a lot of patience in this. Even though it's a fast movement, you have to wait, and it's hard. It's very hard, if I'm going to be quite honest. So tempo and snatch. Or snatch, I'm sorry. Clean. Tempo and clean. Make this harder, add more weight, or you can actually do a full clean. Or go slow into the second pull as well to make it harder. Easier, PVC pipe again. Just gonna keep saying it. PVC pipe is a great substitute for a barbell.